Good afternoon, YouTubers, YouTubettes, YouTube brains, all that good stuff. Whatever part you are, glad to have you. You are at my blog. I'm David, and this is my blog for retireintherp.com. Try to make it interesting for you. If you do find that you enjoy the videos that I'm putting out, and I'm going to try to be a little more animated and not quite so blasé. But I won't be talking about what a lot of guys are expecting to hear. And don't expect this, and none of the bloggers I watch do this. They say, oh, look at all them hot women. Well, yeah, there's a ton of them. I could probably go out there and interview a few of them. But right now, I'm just concentrating on the main thing. And the main thing that I'm going to be doing a series of videos about is, of course, economics and business here in the Philippines, since you now have, and you've been able to do this all the time, but people haven't really talked about it, but if you want to, you can export yourself and be 100% of the owner of an export company. And the Philippines is a wonderful place to export from because the price of labor is very cost effective. They are extremely hard workers, and they're good people. They work hard and they do their job. They just expect to be treated fairly. You meet what the government says you've got to pay them for a minimum wage or a little bit better. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. And you meet the things like in the U.S., you've got to pay Social Security and Medicare for the workers. Same thing here in the Philippines. They got the SSS, and they've also got what's called pag-ibig, which you contribute to that for each worker, and they have to contribute, so you do a matching with them. If I remember correctly, it's a 1-to-1 match. And pag-ibig is a government-sponsored or government-run purchasing for people to buy houses. And, we can get into that at another time. I just want to tell you that. So, you have to consider that you do have expenses to having a worker besides just the wage. Now, when I'm talking about doing exporting, you can already do 100%, and have been able to for a long time. But now you can also do 100% on having a regular company. There is a visa called I think it's a business visa of some sort where you have to employ. And I'm just doing this off the top of my head, so don't quote me until I give you stuff because I expect you to be able to go in there and look it up. If you want me to look it up, then you can contact me and say, well, I want to know about running a widget business. What do I need to do? Well, that right there would actually, if it's not covered in one of the blogs, would actually be a consulting thing, which there is a fee for consulting. Different. I'm going to put those up on the website. But, I'm just putting this together as I go. So if you want to talk about doing a business and you have a specific business, then, boom. If you're thinking that you're going to come to the Philippines and make the dollars in a business that you would in the United States, that's not going to happen. Now, there are expats who come here and they set up resorts or they set up restaurants or shops or whatever, and they make extra money. They make extra money. I'm not going to say they don't. And on a business, it's a work ethic thing. All the work you put into it, the more you work, the more you make. But you have to also understand that if you're over here to retire, running a business like that, which is a day-to-day Sunday through Saturday thing, then you can expect to spend time in it. And you got to be here, you got to do this, you got to do that. Businesses work out differently for everybody. One of the bloggers, Henry Rique from Life Beyond the Sea, said that he had tried to start a piggery and it just didn't work out for him. You can go and do a research or ask him about that, and he'll tell you the difficulties that he had. So, everybody has different experiences. You cannot rubber stamp and say, if you go to the Philippines, this is what's going to happen to your business. Well, they had a saying at one time that says, if you want to make a small fortune in the Philippines, go over there and start with a big one. And another thing that I heard said, now this is just what I heard said, so you can consider it anecdotal. It said that, bear with me, old age. Boom. Bear with me, old age. That if you have a Filipino business partner, you'll sleep in the street. Well, here's the thing. No matter how much, when you go to set up a corporation, they're going to want to know who put how much money in. But the way it usually is the foreigner puts most money in. And because it is, and this is the way it was mandated, because it is a 60-40 split, Filipino foreigner, they've got the control and share. Whether they put the money in or not, they've got the control and share in the corporation. They can really do what they want. And then I've heard people try to say, well, you can get them to pre-sign, and if the DTI, the Department of Trade and Industry, finds out that you're not doing it by the law, then, it just creates a big mess. Well, now you can come to the Philippines, you can put the money up, and you can be the one to control it and say how it's done, because now if you have a business here in the Philippines, because they've changed that rule, you own 100%, you keep 100%. It's your corporation. So, you can run it more like you would in the United States. You don't have to have any partners you don't want. Of course, the partner you'll always have is the BIR, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and that's the beast you got to feed. And they'll tell you how much you're going to owe, because they sort of like, you ever remember that movie Goodfellas? And they were talking about how the mob would get in, and I'm not saying the BIR is like the mob, but it sounds kind of, they don't come in with guns and break people's knees and set the place on fire. But the BIR, if you don't pay your taxes, well, then you know how it is. It's the same with them as it is with the IRS in the United States. They're going to get their chunk. And if you don't give it to them, they're going to make your life miserable and cost you a lot of extra money that you didn't want. And they don't, and I'm going to tell you something, okay? I have not had a whole lot of dealings with the Philippine government, but I have never had a bunch of problems with them. They just want you to do what you're supposed to do, and you get along fine. They don't sit there and ride around trying to pick every coin out of your pocket. You just learn the laws. So you find a specific, okay, and here's the thing. If you find a specific business that you would like to delve into, and I'm just giving you options, and you need help, like I said, I do a consulting business. My wife does real estate. Now, let me touch base on this right quick, and then I'll move on. So, and here's something that you can read about, and Filipinos do this to Filipinos too. So it's not just foreigners. And this happens in a lot of the Philippines. If somebody finds that you're doing something that makes money, they'll come in and undercut you. They don't have to have the amount of money that you do, or that you think would be worthwhile. So they undercut you, boom. And then you got that problem. But I've read a couple of cases where people, a foreigner, an expat, and also a normal Filipino citizen, were renting property, and it was legal. But when their lease was up, even though they were paying their rent and kept everything up and did what was right, the owner of the building decided that they did not want to lease to him again and didn't do it. They had to move their stuff. Uh, and I think there was one time where it was a big mess about getting the stuff and this, that, and other. You don't need that. You need to find somebody you are comfortable with. And this is one thing that my wife and I are planning on doing, because here's the thing. We live currently in Cavite, which is, in terms of business, in a lot of ways, it's perfect because you got 14 million people within driving distance, because it's just south of Manila. I think it's about 40 minutes up the Calex, the expressway. And and here's another thing too. Why is now a good time to get into the Philippines? Because they are doing a lot of infrastructure improvements to connect the Philippines together to make it simpler to travel and trade and get from one place to the other. They are building a highway that goes all the way down to, I'm thinking Legazpi City, which is in eastern Visayas, if I remember correctly. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I finally learned how to pronounce Tagaytay. But, and just to tell you this, Tagaytay is having a lot of trouble with Lake Taal and that volcano that's there. It's in a stage 3 alert, which is, I think if I remember correctly, is the highest one there. So, and Tagaytay is a nice town. I stayed there for a week with Mama when we were getting introduced. And she had some time off and she did her work, and she went to where she was working at a previous job. She's now working for a teleservices company. She makes a lot more than she was making, and she works from home. That's great. But I don't even remember. Oh yeah, was when I got here. I think it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, before the pandemic started, we got an ash eruption from Lake Taal where it spit up a lot of steam and a lot of ash, and there was ash all over the place, which is actually good for soil. So anyway, it's a nice town. It's up in the mountains. It's called the summer capital of the Philippines for Luzon. There's 2 places. Part of it is Tagaytay, and then there's Baguio, which is also a great place for buying vegetables. And they actually they grow a ton of vegetables there, and they ship them down here to, what we call Calabarzon, which is Cavite and Laguna and Batangas and Quezon, and I can't remember the other one. It's the combination. These are the provinces that are south. Batangas is right next to Tagaytay. So you're going to catch a ton of ash if it goes off and does it again. We caught a bunch of it, and we're not even in the danger zone. They have a what they call a danger zone or caution zone, which is about, I want to say 12 kilometers, 12 miles, don't quote me, from the volcano. And it's a beautiful place to go see, as long as the volcano ain't going off. We've been by there and we've seen it. We had, it was cool. We had lunch at one of the fancy schmancy restaurants. Be honest with you, the fancy ones don't really impress me because I don't think they're worth the value. There was a restaurant that's open down here in Vista Mall called Gilligan's, which is a real nice place to go. And then there's quite a few chicken places, Manook. So if you like fried chicken, you can get that. They have Lechon, which Lechon is good. It's different than Tennessee barbecue. I grew up in West Tennessee, and that's what gets people when they found out I lived in Texas for a long time. I was born in Texas. My father was military, yada, yada, yada. And I was in Texas. I was working in call centers a lot. And these people would go, "Oh, well, where you at? What state are y'all in?" So, well, we're in Texas. And people go, "Oh," especially the women, "what a lovely Texas accent." I'd just say, "Thank you, I appreciate it," because it's actually a Tennessee accent. And if you don't believe you can't tell the difference, there are people that can, because I worked a ton of hours and a lot of overtime, and they would call in and they'd say, "Oh, where you at?" "In Texas." He says, "Well, you may be in Texas, but that is not a Texas accent." I said, "Okay, where's it from?" They say, "West Tennessee, Jackson, Tennessee." Yeah, that was it. And that was it. And they were right too. And I said, "Man, you get the prize for the day. You got it dead on." So anyway, Tagatai is nice, but they've got of course, when you got the volcano in Batangas, you got fault lines. And I asked Mama, "What about Batangas? It looks pretty nice because there's got a lot of space that's right there on the sea." And she said, "No, too many fault lines." And of course, me being hard headed, I had to find out the hard way, but we didn't ever move there. But what we are planning to do is that there is a city in Bukidnon province called Merrimack. And there's actually two others too, three others that are good size. But you have Valencia, which is the commercial center and business center for Bukidnon, and then you have Malai Balai, which is right just up the road from it, not too far, and then above that you got Manolo Fortiche, which I don't know if I got that pronounced right, but I try. That sounds about right. And these are all in Bukidnon. And, people are going to tell, and this is one thing I'm going to tell you about, but that's where we're planning on trying to move, is Merrimack. You can look it up and see it's a real thing. It's a safe place. It's a quiet place. It's a pretty place. Lots of swimming and beach resorts there in the town. Very nice. And I would not want it to get overgrown like they've got Manila overgrown. And, God bless. If you like Manila, because it's very urbanized and all kind of stuff, I salute. Best for you. I am just tired. I don't like living in cities. I never have. I grew up in the country. I grew up out in the country, not quite out in the sticks, but getting that way. And that was in Tennessee. And then when I moved to Texas, first 2 years I spent out in the sticks and away from the city. And then after that, I'd been stuck in the city, and I'd like to get and really where we're at, don't hear a lot of traffic, you don't hear a lot of noise, you certainly don't hear a lot of excitement. The only time it gets exciting and loud around here is around big holidays like Christmas and New Year's Day, and can't remember what else they got. They've got an Independence Day. And the people here are nice. It's a nice neighborhood. I don't mind it at all, but I would like to get somewhere where we can get out and have a house on the lake. And Bukidnon, his temperature is cooler, so looking forward to it. But I said all that to say this. Here's something else we're going to be getting into is, like I said, we're doing consulting. If you're looking to buy a house, wherever, and if you're looking to get a business started, we can make you an offer that will provide you with security. Because you got a business going. You're building a business not just for yourself, but also for your family, so that you can pass it on down to them at some point. You're looking to get a house, you definitely want to be able to keep it where you're safe. You've got the type of place you want. You can do with it as you choose. You cannot own property, but we will work out a deal where you can rent from us, and you're not going to have to worry about us throwing you out to rent it to somebody else. That's not the way things are done. Everything will be legal and in writing and binding in contracts, so that you can have security. So that if you're in a foreign country, we're wanting to offer you security for your personal living and for your business. And you'll meet a lot of Filipinos that you'll like. You're going to find out how good they are. Are they perfect? No. You're going to have idiots in there like you do in every other state in the United States. I'm not going to sit there and tell you it's perfect, but I'm going to sit there and tell you I would think you'd be a lot better off dealing with this culture and in this climate and with what you can get here and making the effort to export. There's just a lot of stuff happening. Now, here's the thing that they're doing. In the Philippines, they're building a regional airport in Don Carlos, which is in Bukidnon, just south, I think maybe 5 kilometers south of Maramag. So you can do that. And then they also already have a highway there. I'm sure they're going to expand that. That runs from Cagayan de Oro, which is on the north coast, actually the northeast part of Mindanao. It goes down through Bukidnon. I think it goes Malay and Valencia, and then right by Maramag. And then it goes on down into Davao, which is the second or third. They got three, and the three of them are Cebu, Manila, and Davao. And if I remember correctly, but don't quote me, you can double check. It's one reason I'll be glad when we get more subscribers, so we can start letting people put comments on your video, on the things that they like about the video, and are able to, post a comment, post a suggestion, and, get involved and get part of it. But like I said, we need more subscribers. Sort of like the, sort of like public broadcasting service. We need more subscribers. Can you help? Can you donate? Can you subscribe? If you want to see a video about something specific and it can be worked out, you make a donation, we'll do it for you. Oh, and another thing too, we're in the process of changing because, I'm on a visitor's visa. I'm wanting to get out of that. We are in the process of filing for the 13A, which is non-quota immigrant visa, because my wife is a Filipina, which means, she can own property. And if the right person makes a proper thing where the property can be acquired, then you won't have your name on it, but you'll have it locked in to where you don't have to worry about getting jerked around about it. We're too old to get in trouble. I don't mean that I just mean that we don't do it. We've never done it. We're not going to start doing it this late in life. I'm 58 years old. My wife is 36. She has no interest in getting into any crooked things, and neither do I. We're here to honestly, because look at it like this. if we can help you to work out something to where you can be profitable and make the money yourself, because you're not going to have us telling you what to do. That's not the point. The point is, we will make an agreement on acquiring the property, what it'll cost, what's got to be done. And really, if we had it already and owned it ourselves, we're not going to treat people wrong just because somebody thinks they can make an extra 25 pesos a day, an extra 50 cents a day, an extra $15 a month. So, that's what we're looking for. Now, there are a lot of different ways to make money, but number one is exporting. Finding something, you can do this without any kind of consulting if you want to. But you can export things. You can export precious metals if you have contact with a mining company. You can export metals. Here's the thing that you ought to give a thought to right now: fertilizer. Because the Russians have been boycotted by the EU, the Common Market, European Union, and the United States, and I don't know who else. And they're all, they're not going to be buying fertilizer from the Russians. And the Russians produce a whole lot of it, and it's been a bag of money in their pocket. So they're doing that. Well, here's the thing. If they can afford to ship it from Russia by ship to the United States, well, the Philippines has two, and I haven't done much more research into this, but then again, I don't have the money, so I'll keep a tab on it. But if the Russians can ship it to the United States, we have two fertilizer manufacturing plants in Luzon and two in the Central Visayas. Where exactly, I don't know, but the Central Visayas is going to be like Bohol, Dumaguete, and Negros Oriental and Negros Occidental. I think Panay would be included in that. So you can, if you got the money, you can afford to. You don't have to have a partner. You can do this, and I'm telling you that if we're going to do things, here's how the way it's going to be done. But you don't have to do it with me at all. If for whatever reason you don't even like my accent or the way my glasses catch the light or whatever, and you want to do it on your own, I salute. God bless. I wish you the best of luck, because there is money to be made. And with that pandemic, you got to understand, here in the Philippines, they've always had a supply chain problem. They've got the problem in the United States too. I know in the United States, they can't get stuff from California on over. Fortunately, Corpus Christi is building the new bridge across the Bay of Corpus Christi, and it's going to allow for super tankers to come in. And Corpus Christi's got infrastructure, and they can get things in and out. They've always been able to. There's a ship channel up in Houston where they can also do shipping from here to there. Finding something good to ship from here over to there, and then from there over to here, and you keep that chain going, and you keep it going in, keep it going out. They're going to buy tons of fertilizer. They use tons of it, because I think, if I remember correctly, and I watched this on Fox News. Yeah, I know you're one of those Fox News types. Yeah, I am. Have been for a long time. And I'm going to get off on politics just a second. I'm going to wrap this up, because we're going to get a little bit deeper into other things. And like I said, old age. Sometimes you sit here and just blank out. Okay, yeah, I've been a Fox News fan. I've always enjoyed it. I was a Rush Limbaugh listener for many years. I've always enjoyed him. I watched him when he was on TV, and he'd crack you up. or at least he did me. The last Democrat that I liked was unfortunately assassinated right after I was born. I was in Texas, and I was in Fort Hood. I had just been born just a few days before. My mother was giving me a bath, and the news came across on the television. Walter Cronkite, he does that thing with his glasses. In Dallas, Texas, doctors have announced that President Kennedy has died at 1 o'clock this afternoon, some 38 minutes ago. Yeah, I know I'm old. Ooh, how old are you? Oh, I'm old, buddy. But the Lord has been good to me. And, I was talking about how guys want you to get on here and talk about, well, I'm not going to do that. I have a wife. I'm not going to do that. So anyway, you'll hear people talk about Takadai, or not Takadai, that Bukidnon is not safe and Mindanao is not safe. Parts of it are, parts of it are not. But you've already got a highway running down from Cagayan de Oro to Davao City. They are building a railroad to go and service all the major cities in Mindanao. They've got a regional airport being built in Don Carlos. So it's got a lot. I think that if, when you look at the map of Mindanao, it looks like two islands joined together with a little bitty dirt spot, and that's Mindanao, and then you have what's called the Zamboanga Peninsula. And that area is not exactly pacified. So that's an area that nobody recommends you go to. Don't go in the Sulu Sea, south of Mindanao. So you don't want to do that either. Well, anyway, we'll get back into this a little bit more. As my sons, I'm sure they'll come barging in here in a little bit, and I don't want to have to start this over and do this again. Again, my name is David. I want to thank you for taking the time to tune in and listen, because I notice I'm getting more people listening. I need more subscribers and more people watching the videos. So if you can, like and subscribe and share to your friends. If you're interested in business, that's what we're going to be spending a lot of time on, specifically on certain types of businesses. And then later on, just kind of do probably the next 4 or 5 will be about business, important, and owning your own business. Because you can do that now. You don't have to have the 60-40 Filipino-foreigner split, or Filipino, non-Filipino split. 60% for them, 40% for you, even if you put up all the money. Now you can put up all the money and it will be 100% your business. And if you need a consultant or somebody to be there to lend an ear and help you out, I and my wife would work together, and you can get us as your consultants. If you want to take an extended vacation down here, we can also help you on doing travel arrangements. We're going to get, we've already got a car company that does auto rentals, so you can do that online. And then we're also going to start doing affiliate marketing for like Agoda and Orbitz, and then of course the car company we've got that on the links page. You can check that out. I'm trying to get the email thing straightened out. I got so many emails I can't remember them all. When I was younger, I could remember everything. I didn't even need a phone book. I did a note thing. I can remember everybody's number. Nowadays, I forget why I got up to go downstairs. But anyway, we're trying to look on getting a place to get started in there. Our landlord is wanting to sell the house we're in. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, nice terrace. It's actually screened in. It's a large lot. So if you're interested and like pictures and like to know more about it, email me. We can do it. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm David. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe.